It's Friday, and this is your crypto news. We're going to be talking about the US inflation, Meteora, Jupiter. We'll have a look at some charts at the end and a few actionables, and in general, what's going on with the markets. This is just going to be a bi-weekly show now. So twice a week, we'll do this, and we'll have tutorials come out and other insightful things on the other days. So let's dive in and get amongst it. US inflation falls to 2.8%, lower than expectations. This is good. It means as this falls, interest rates can drop, and as interest rates drop, the speculative assets start to boom, because at present, the only thing that's booming is gold. Now, looking at the past 20 years, March 12th, so 2 days ago, it is generally the negative average year-to-date return for the S&P 500. It's a little bit of a different cycle because Trump is just tariffing everything, so it's not going to be perfectly like this. Hopefully, this kind of holds true to an aspect, and we've covered this in the video all about like interest rates explained, where we went over data from different sources and a lot of stuff from Real Vision and Raoul Pal, and I think that's definitely worth a watch just to get not even just a good viewpoint, but to work out where the information kind of comes from. SIMD 228 proposal to cut SOL inflation, it did not pass. Basically, it did not pass. It was so close. The reason why it didn't pass was because not all the validators actually voted. So in the end, it was a no vote. That kind of was a vote that didn't pass. It slightly failed. And we voted it with validator.com. No. Initially, we're thinking yes, and then we did more research because not all the information was clearly in one place. You had to go off in so many different directions. I think the guys, Multicoin Capital, that kind of put it out there, they didn't do the best job of centralizing the information in the different viewpoints and opinions. There's been some people that have been very happy that it hasn't passed, but there's some people that are very childish, I guess, and blocking people that had different viewpoints on this. This ultimately was probably just going to push up the price of SOL, yes, but long term, it could be kind of brutal for the decentralization aspect of Solana, to be perfectly honest. It would most likely go from over 1,000 validators to under about 200 in the bear market. Now let's have a look at DeFi Llama and fees, because we're going to cover a little bit of some news on Meteora in a second, we can talk about briefly Jupiter and any FUD there if you like. But I just want to show you something with relation to dApp fees and a viewpoint here, which I think I might do a dedicated video on. But look at the fees in the last 24 hours by Jupiter and Meteora across all of crypto. They are they're fifth and sixth. Now, the fees, this doesn't mean they get all these fees, right? But this is still like a profitable endeavor. Pump.fun would have been leading typically, but not any longer. If we have a look at the fees over the last 7 days, then Jupe is third and Meteora is at number 6. Now, Jupe, a lot of these fees are shared with like Solflare and Backpack and Phantom, because when an in-app swap goes through it, it also kind of says it's Jupiter's fee when it's not. But in general, it's a very profitable thing. And I think Jupiter, Meteora, I said it, well over a year ago, they would be like the number 1 and number 2 dApps on Solana. And they are already by the amount of fees that they're actually generating. Now, I watched yesterday a live stream by Meteora where they finally started to address some of the FUD. Well, not even the FUD. They as you may know, Meteora made some big mistakes, massive mistakes with M3 launch with Libra. They didn't launch it, but they connected to Kaiser Ventures, and it was a max extract kind of environment. It was absolutely brutal. And now they're going over like, what are we going to do with M3? What are we going to do with MET? You can read this, but the TLDR is M3, one snapshot was taken. This was yesterday, and 2% of the team's MET tokens will go towards M3. Now, Soju, who previously was only at Jupiter, is now at Meteora, kind of operations and whatnot. He said he would inbound any DM, make it constructive, but if you've got ideas, ping him his way, because M3 was absolutely brutal, for sure. And I want there to be multiple snapshots. So if you sold like straight after the FUD, you get some sort of MET tokens. If you sold a week later or 2 weeks later, you get some MET tokens. And if you're still holding until yesterday, you get more. The reason I say more is because of the fact that there was no official statement, but Ben Chow and Meteora backed this as the actual official meme coin. And for 4 weeks, there was a data void, which I think was very irresponsible. And I put this out and I said this, you can't have a data void. I know they're doing an audit or whatever, but we still don't have any transparency. And this is kind of pretty brutal. When Bybit was hacked, I know it was a bigger kettle of fish, is that the saying? I don't think so, but it was a much bigger problem, but they were immediately transparent. Here, we've been promised transparency. And you have to love something and be critical of something when there's failures on that side. Now we've got a lot more transparency, but you can keep the pressure on in a friendly manner. Like, MET will only be a success as a token if the community rallies behind it. Anyway, I want a few things done, but like they covered here, a few things they gave to anyone that was rugged with fee printers if they filled out like the Discord ticket last year. They gave like a little bit of a relief fund. I think it maxed out like 3 SOL. So even if you bought like 20 of them, you got 3 SOL, but it's still, they didn't have to do any of this. And that was very worthwhile. Well, thank you. So the team allocation in terms of tokenomics would be 20% allocation. So it'd be actually 18, and then extremely long vest. And then looking at, well, there's quite a few things you can look at, but looking at maybe 15% of the supply just going out straight as LP stimulus, and Launchpad's 3%. Have a read of it. I have my own views. I think Futagi should be the way it should be incorporated in some way. Like, I properly think that. That's that. Now, with Jupiter, there was supposed to be on Wednesday, there was supposed to be a planetary call, which we're hoping a little bit of transparency was going to come out again. Cash is sick, and there's been no update since. So, this is a bit of a shame. I do have some ideas on how transparency can be improved here. And the thing is, the token will not perform necessarily well for any token. This is a lesson for everything for the next 12 months. Any token will not perform well if there's too much transparency initially, like what was said with regards to the team compensation, and then a lack of transparency afterwards. As soon as the FUD comes, you take a step back and you go silent. So very, very bullish on Jupe, and I know it's going to do well, but it's very fickle with some of the team's decisions right now, and that's why the price kind of goes up and goes down. So you may want to take some Jupe and sell it on the highs and buy it on the lows, because it is trading in a range based on oversharing information, in my opinion. Very, very bullish on Jupe. Don't have anyone take this the wrong way. Cash, Meow, Soju, Song. I've put in well over 1,000 hours of effort into Jupe, well over. And I love Jupiter. This is good feedback. I think you already know what it is, and there's no point in being ignorance is bliss. This is what the Jupe community needs to do. They need to improve things within it by putting on pressure when they think pressure is due. Now, DLLM opportunities right now. This is from GeekLad. This is a great tool. With this right now, BTC is going down, Sol's going down. If you're going to get into this, you get in, you get out. You get in, you get out. The only token that's been doing well multi-day that I've seen that's new has been Squeeze. And I think it's funny. We've got Golden Sol. I don't know what Golden Sol is. Probably going to be a fake gold token, which we'll cover a little bit later on. Gold, no, something else. Maybe just because of the fact that gold is like doing well while everything else is not. But you can have a look at this tool. But the most important thing is there's actually a little video by GeekLad which shows what it is. So this would be below. Use this as one of your tools to help find good plays. But as I mentioned before, there's not a whole lot of profitable DLMMing right now. Poise is an exception. You got to get it at the right time, find the range at the bottom, sell them up, and then get the fees as you capture. I'll just very, very quickly show you that. Here, this is on the daily chart, which is, of course, not going to work. You'd look at like the 1 minute or the 5 minute. and you want to work out where is the range. And like the range is quite broad. Anything that's kind of breaking into new all-time high territory, I would just stay away from. I've played in it before. You can play in it with small amounts so you can learn, but you generally want to play there and you realize that it's going to come on down. And you don't want to necessarily start buying here like this. If it goes up like this is certainly not financial advice, but this is a viewpoint I have, and we can see if it plays true. If it goes up like this, and it's just like it's broken out, it will break out until there's something else shiny on the timeline, which will come within hours, if not minutes. So it breaks out. You know, it looks like, oh, this is on a 5-minute chart. Looks like it's very, very interesting here. It looks like we could be like, let's trade this range now. But this is, you can see, if you know the MACD and RSI, you can see that the two lines are above the center zero line. It's up. It looks good. When it comes down, it can be brutal. RSI goes high. It's peaked. So at this point would be, although there was another pump up, this is certainly a time to potentially take profits. And it'll be look a little bit different on the 1-minute chart as how I would normally deal in it, but just zooming out, this is what I'll show you. And instead, I wouldn't want to go and set a bid ask or a bid to buy down like this. I would want it to drop to more of like here, and then kind of start buying it down. And then we would have generated some fees. And then when it lost its range again, so here we can see maybe our range is kind of something like this and something like this. So this would be our range we'd like to play now. We wouldn't want to bid ask it down because we could break this. We'd want it to come on down and then start playing with it potentially. Either way, this is it's a fun token. I think it will do well. I'll rephrase that actually. I think the token could do well. It's fun, it's poise. It's a fun thing to DLMM, not necessarily like bag hold or anything like that. Jupiter has introduced a new system, Smart CT Likes. This is a cool system. So you go to Jupe, you go ahead, you can go and like this, you connect your X to like, and you can like whatever token you like. Starting in the trenches, you can look at something you like, this is pretty cool. IMG might be your thing, Anglerfish, Gary. Not all the tokens have an organic score for some reason, but that's okay. Go and like it if you want. It's a good idea. Now let's do a little bit of an update on a hyper-liquid whale tracking, because I mentioned this before, but it's really hard to track them. And it's worth tracking them because the whales do control the markets. And when a big whale does something, if you can catch it early, you could copy trade that, because other people are going to see this. Like tens of thousands of accounts within minutes will see this and start to go with that same sentiment. So this is from CoinGlass. So good work with CoinGlass. I've got this hyperliquid platform here where you can see all of the different users, what they're doing. So if you can track when something goes live pretty soon with some sort of size, like this is a massive amount of size, $145 million short, $90 million in profit. They're paying a funding fee of $3 million. And this was started 3 days ago. So you can have a look at something like this. You can see who's doing well. Of course, it does, like, you still have to have the right degree of the market. You still have to have the right side of the market, otherwise you will not do well. But you could even have a look at this and you could see, well, the majority of people on Hyperliquid right now are aggressively short. You can clearly see that by the sizing. So these are the bigger shorters, and it's bigger. You can also come up here and click on the liquidation map, and you can see that right now there's a whole lot more people shorting. It's very, very obvious. It's very, very obvious. This is just on Hyperliquid. So they're shorting BTC right now. This is BTC, not ETH, but that's fine. There's a massive amount of shorts. You can see, coming up to like $123,000. And it's dynamic, of course. There's 2.7 thousand BTC. Whereas if we want anything similar, it takes us down to the price of like $1.17. This is where you'll be liquidated, right? This is So there's a lot more shorting activity right now. It's only one data source though, but it's something that you can use. And you can use that in conjunction with a tracking bot. Look on chain shows us, some traders are doing very, very well. So I can't tell you each day what they are or anything like that because it's too dynamic. I need to just show you how to do it. And if you go and look at the addresses, sometimes the perps are just already closed. This is not closed and the P&L is down. Instead, you can have a look at using pvp.trade potentially. And this allows you to, I haven't used it myself yet, but worth looking into. Track feature in the bot into the wallet and just see what they're doing. Just get it pinged. And if you think it's in the movement, you could potentially jump on this trade. Not with any kind of crazy size. You can go to Range of Finance. You can do it there because most of the audience is on Solana. Now, regarding the news a couple of days ago, one trader versus Hyperliquid's HLP Vault, 4 million gone, no bug, no exploit, just a brutal game of liquidity mechanics. This is how it was pulled off. Basically, this is a system where it's PvP. It's not like Jupiter or Adrena on Solana or Flash Trade where it's Oracle based. And so the thing that takes on the debt is actually like Hyperliquid itself if you try to unwind a position. So what you can do, you can put on a massive amount of size, hundreds of millions of dollars. And when you're in profit, you can start to withdraw your collateral. And then as you withdraw it, the price, that doesn't dump the price, but the price will go down. Then you're in profit, you've already withdrawn your capital because it's leveraged. And then after that, the bad debt kind of gets taken over by HLP. So that's one of the reasons why the Hype token has gone down. And there's still people out there, and they could be right. Easy Bodega thinks Hype is a $100 token. Hype is probably a place that you definitely may want to play a little bit. I just see there's a decent amount of potential risks in terms of the centralization and whatnot. They did an official statement on that. There was no protocol exploit or hack. However, they've decided to reduce the max leverage from 100 to 40 and 25x to increase maintenance margin requirements for larger positions. This is in the all-time P&L for HLP's Vault is 60 million, but they did lose 4 million over the past 24 hours. So kind of brutal, to be honest. Also on some DEX news, Drift has gone and upgraded. This is the biggest liquidity upgrade to Drift since launch, so that's well done to Drift. Faster fills, lower slippage, and gasless trading. So you can check this out if you like. One way you can check it out now is Range of Finance, which is something that I'm pretty interested in. Have a referral, Seb Monty. It's like an aggregator, like dupe.ag, but for perps. Go through all the different perps, things dupe, flash, drift as an example. So you can always get the best rates. Come check this out. Drift is now integrated, which is good. And they've got like a trading campaign where 10 random rangers can earn their share of 1,000 drift. Trade on Ranger, share your P&L card as proof. Probably not the time to be actually leveraging right now, to be perfectly honest, unless you know what you're doing or if it's low 2, 3. But if you want to have some fun with some actual gambling money, not your spot bags, you're welcome to do so. Now, DeFi Dungeons. This game, I've mentioned it before. I'm going to keep on mentioning it because I think it's going to blow up. Just keep in mind that there'll be people in sizable profit because of a pre-sale. If it blows up, time your entries, play. If it goes up, maybe take some profits, but I'm going to play it. I think I'm just going to play it and live stream it because I think it's fun. I think this will help overall the entire Solana ecosystem by bringing more attention. It will be a pretty successful thing, in my opinion. So 1 week until token launch, just put the gold in the bag, little bro. I don't have any further details on the tokenomics yet, so as soon as I do, I'll cover it live. The token generation is on March 19th though, so just letting you know now, you can still set aside some dollars if you like. It will be an Meteora's Alpha Vault tech, which I'm a big fan of, and with no whitelist. So there's been no pre-sale or private sales of gold, only pre-sales, maybe some private sales of the NFTs. Let's move on to the calendar. Moonwalk, walk to earn, get your fitness in. But the big thing for tomorrow is Meteora Bootcamp. get amongst it. If you haven't done the Meteora Bootcamp, do the Meteora Bootcamp. Please, please, please. It's a 2-day event. It's like, this is in English. This is 2 hours, I think, on the 15th and 16th. And it's even worth doing it again. If Chief is there on the 16th, I don't know if he is. He has some some more advanced strategies, and I really want to do a podcast. Chief, make sure you reply to my DMs. We should do a podcast. But in the meantime, watch this. Also tomorrow, go through my Monad airdrop guide video, easy peasy. And then there's a Sol AI Summit on Sunday. And then from Monday, the cadets working group becoming a full working group. It's a vote. You have to go and vote and get amongst it. Let's have a look at a little bit of trading before I kind of end here. And yeah. All right. So there's nothing really like per my strategies right now, which I've learned from Katoshi, and I'm continue to learn. On the 2-hour Bitcoin, using these settings, Bitcoin has been down, since 89,000, and it's still down. It came down aggressively, so it was certainly like a shortable opportunity here if you wanted to do so. And now we're starting to see leveling out. So this leveling out could hopefully mean we could get a 2-hour candle that could start to move up. We've already started to like move up like this, but with this strategy, which is more of the market direction, not trying to like knife catch or anything like that, which will just destroy a lot of people. We are leveling out, so hopefully we can come green, get a little bit of a pump like this, and we can long that or buy spot, sell higher. Because BTC is not doing good, we wouldn't go and take a Sol trade necessarily right now. It's not a time to short, because we would have shorted at this point when it came here and it was like 140, and then we would have come on down. Just keep in mind though, if you're going to use leverage, if you go and short right now at 140, or if you did here, closing, you could have shorted maybe 143. And then you had like this wick up to like 150. This is still a profitable trade, but if you get liquidated here, then you're out of the game. So just keep in mind that you have to have your own risk tolerance. But that, like for a scalp, for this kind of longer term scalp where it's not like day trading, it's a multi-day position normally. Typically, buy it in spot or sell spot and then re-enter is kind of what you want. Want to do some sort of leverage. Just keep in mind that, like, I don't even know what this wick size is, but like if it pumped 4.5%, then you would have been liquidated potentially if you had 20x leverage or something. So just keep those leverage ideas low, in my opinion, those leverage levels low. And then you can see this was, it is a nice short. Now we're starting to level off. We've had this big move down the curve, and now we're starting to level off. So I'm hoping we start to go green soon as well. So that's everything. That's my bi-weekly update. I'll be back again on Monday with another bi-weekly update. And then other times there'll be tutorials and whatnot. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out the videos over here. The top one is on Meteora. Watch it. Meteora is what you want to learn. Cheers.